Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to warn you right up front, today isn't going to be comfortable.
Oh.
No, I mean it. If we do our job right, you might end this feeling a little called out. I know I did when I was prepping for this. We are going to get personal.
Okay.
I want to start with a confession.
A confession. That sounds ominous. Usually we start with a statistic or, a news headline.
No, this is deeper than a stat.
Yeah.
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
I want to throw a specific sentence out there, and I want everyone listening, and you too, to be radically honest about whether this has crossed your mind or even crossed your lips, maybe in the last 48 hours. Are you ready?
Lay it on me. I'm bracing myself.
Here is the sentence. Move over. It is just faster if I do it myself.
Yes, the universal confession, the battle cry of the overwhelmed professional.
I feel like I've said that, or at least thought it really loudly, maybe 3 times this week alone. It's that moment. Maybe it's 11:30 p.m., you're just exhausted, your eyes are burning, and you spot a typo on a social media graphic. Or you're trying to rearrange a calendar for the 3rd time because a client shifted a meeting and the time zone math just isn't working.
And you just can't. You can't face explaining.
You have this visceral reaction. You think, I cannot explain this to anyone else. It'll take too long to type out the instructions. I'll just do it. It feels like the only option.
It does. And what's so fascinating here is that we usually wear that sentence like a badge of honor. We think it says something good about us.
Yes.
We think it proves our dedication, our high standards.
Exactly. We think it means I have high standards or, I am the only one who cares enough to get this right. It feels like this heroic act. You're saving the day, one fixed typo at a time.
You're the martyr in the trenches.
Totally. But if we look at the material we are diving into today, specifically this guide called Overcoming Trust Trauma, that sentence is not a badge of honor. It is actually a trap.
A very expensive trap.
A very expensive one. In fact, the research in this guide suggests that this specific mindset is, and I'm quoting here, the single most expensive lie in business.
Wow. That is a heavy label.
It is. The single most expensive lie, not a bad habit, not an inefficiency, but a lie. So today we are going to unpack that.
Okay.
We're going to look at why we feel that way, why it's actually costing us a fortune. I mean, way more than we think. And then how to fix it. We're diving deep into a concept they call trust trauma.
Trust trauma. That's the key phrase here. And I want to be clear before we start. This isn't just about being a perfectionist.
Right.
Everyone claims to be a perfectionist in job interviews. This is different. This is about a deep-seated psychological barrier to delegation.
So it's something deeper happening.
Exactly. The whole mission of this deep dive is to move you from that frantic, I'll do it myself mentality to a place where you can genuinely say, I trust my team. And that journey. It's a lot harder than just hiring a virtual assistant.
It requires us to look at some math that, frankly, hurts my feelings a little bit, and some psychology that explains why we are so terrified of letting go. So let's start with that lie. It's just faster if I do it myself. Why do they call it a lie? Because in the moment, objectively, it literally is faster.
It is. That's the tricky part.
If I fix the graphic, it takes 2 minutes. If I have to email someone, explain the error, wait for them to see the email, wait for them to fix it, check it again, that's 20 minutes. So the math seems to be on my side.
In the moment, yes, that is the seduction of it. That's the little dopamine hit you get. You solve a problem, you feel useful, you move on.
Check it off a list.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the argument it falls apart. The guide gives us a really powerful counter-argument. It is faster today, it is slower forever.
Oof. Slower forever.
Yeah.
That sounds like a curse.
It kind of is. Think about the visual metaphor they use. It's the difference between a hamster on a wheel and a car on a highway.
I love this image, but it also stresses me out a bit. Can you break that down for us?
So when you do it yourself, when you fix that typo at midnight, you are the hamster.
Okay.
You're running incredibly fast, you're sweating, you're working really hard, your heart rate is up. But where are you going?
Nowhere.
You are staying in the exact same spot because next week, when there's another typo or another calendar conflict, guess what?
It's me again, on the wheel.
Do it again. You are on the wheel. You are creating a job for yourself, not a system for the business.
Because I haven't built a mechanism to handle it. I've just applied a Band-Aid. It sounds like I'm addicted to the quick fix.
That's a perfect way to put it. You're addicted to the feeling of solving the immediate problem, whereas the car on the highway, think about getting a car ready for a long road trip.
Right. It takes a while.
That takes time. You have to pack, you have to put gas in it, you have to check the tires, maybe you have to look at a map. Getting it moving is slower than just jumping on a wheel.
It feels inefficient at first.
It feels very inefficient in that first hour. But once the car is moving, it travels distance. It actually goes somewhere. It leaves the garage. The hamster never leaves the cage.
And the stakes here are pretty high. The guide says staying on the hamster wheel keeps a business broke, tired, and small.
Mm-hmm.
I think small is the word that really lands for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can control everything on the hamster wheel. You know exactly where your feet are. You know the rhythm.
Small is the price of total control. That's the trade-off. You can have total control or you can have growth, but you usually can't have both. You physically cannot run the wheel fast enough to simulate a highway speed. It's impossible.
That's the core tension we're going to explore. But I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Please.
Because I know what people are thinking. They're thinking, okay, sure, I get the metaphor. Hamster wheel, bad.
Yeah.
Car, good. But you don't understand my business.
The I'm special objection.
Exactly. You don't understand my past experiences. And this brings us to the root cause. Why is it so hard to just let someone else handle the calendar? This is where that concept of trust trauma comes in. It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Trauma.
It does, but in the context of leadership and entrepreneurship, I think it's incredibly accurate. The guide defines trust trauma as a defense mechanism born from past hiring failures.
Okay.
It's not just, I'm particular, it's, I've been hurt.
So it's professional baggage. We're carrying around these old wounds from work.
Precisely. And it's biological and psychological. Your brain is literally wired to protect you from pain. So imagine you hired someone 2 years ago. Maybe you were so excited, you onboarded them, you had these high hopes.
You thought, this is it. This is the person who's going to save me.
And then they ghosted you. Or worse.
Oh, I've got stories. Or they sent that email to your biggest client with the wrong name.
Yes. Or misspelled the company name.
Or they promised a deliverable and just
Yeah.
didn't do it. Poof.
Yeah.
Gone.
Right. And that moment caused you pain. It caused embarrassment. It maybe cost you money or a client relationship. So now your brain creates a survival instinct. It's the amygdala hijacking your logic.
The fight or flight part of the brain kicks in.
Exactly. The internal monologue becomes, remember when we trusted someone? That hurt. That cost us money. So to be safe, we must do everything ourselves. It's a new rule written in Sharpie in your brain.
It's like touching a hot stove.
Yeah.
You touch it once, you get burned, and your brain says, okay, new rule. We never touch stoves again.
Mm-hmm.
But in business, the stove is delegation. And if you never touch it, you starve. You can't cook anything.
That is a great analogy. You starve the business of the resources and the leverage it needs to grow because you're afraid of getting burned again.
And this creates a cycle, right?
Yes, and this trauma creates a really toxic cycle. The material maps it out step by step, and I think a lot of listeners are going to recognize this pattern. It's almost a script we follow unconsciously.
Okay, walk us through the cycle. I have a feeling I'm going to recognize myself here.
Okay, so it starts with overwhelm. Stage 1. You are drowning in work, so you finally decide, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need help. You hire someone.
The breaking point.
But because you are already overwhelmed, maybe the onboarding isn't perfect, you're rushing, you just want the pain to stop so you don't take the time to train them properly.
Right. You throw them into the deep end because you're too busy to teach them how to swim.
Exactly. And then, and this is key, the new hire is just human. They aren't a mind reader. They aren't a clone of you. So, step 2. The new hire makes a mistake.
Which is inevitable.
It is 100% inevitable, a typo, a missed deadline, a tone mismatch in an email, something small.
And then comes step 3, which is that aha moment, but not a good aha.
No, it's the confirmation bias. Aha, you shout internally or maybe even out loud. See, I knew it. I knew nobody could do it like me.
And there's this twisted sense of vindication in that moment.
There it is. It feels good.
That feeling is so dangerous. It feels good to be right, even if being right means you are doomed to work all weekend. It's like, I told you so, but you're just saying it to yourself in a locked room.
Exactly. So then comes step 4. You snatch the task back. You say, move over, I'll do it. You don't coach, you don't correct, you don't teach you, rescue.
You swoop in like a superhero to fix the mess.
And finally, step 5, you return to burnout. You are back on the hamster wheel, but now you are even more convinced that you are the only person capable of running the wheel. You've reinforced the trauma. The belief is stronger than ever.
And the material makes a really interesting point here. It says that when we do this, we aren't protecting the business. We think we are.
100%.
We think I'm saving the business from this incompetent employee. But the analysis argues we are actually protecting our ego.
That is the deep dive insight right there. That's the uncomfortable truth. It feels like quality control. We tell ourselves it's about maintaining high standards.
Yeah.
But often it is just fear. It is fear of looking bad, fear of losing control, fear of the unknown. We prioritize our ego's need for safety over the business's need for growth. We'd rather be the tired hero than the vulnerable leader.
Wow. The tired hero versus the vulnerable leader. That's a choice. So how do we know if we have this? Because I think a lot of people listening are thinking, well, my standards are just higher. My business is different. My clients expect me. The guide provides a checklist of symptoms, a way to self-diagnose, trust trauma. Let's run through these and, let's be honest.
This is the look in the mirror moment.
It is. Okay, symptom number 1. You hold on to passwords like they are gold bars.
This is a classic one, a huge red flag. You refuse to use a password manager like LastPass or 1Password, or you refuse to share access.
Even for low-stakes things.
Yes. Because of this vague fear of being hacked, you treat the login to your social media scheduler like it's the nuclear launch codes.
I am so guilty of this. I used to think, well, what if they go rogue and delete everything? But really, it was just a control thing. I wanted to be the gatekeeper.
And practically, it just bottlenecks everything. If you have to be awake to type in a 2-factor authentication code every time a team member needs to post something to Instagram,
You are the bottleneck.
you are. You've handcuffed the entire business to your phone. Nothing moves without you.
Okay, symptom number 2. You rewrite emails that your team drafted because the tone wasn't quite right.
The tone police. Now, I want to be careful here because brand voice matters, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But there is a huge difference between this is off-brand and this isn't how I would have phrased it.
Yes, that's the distinction. If the message is clear, polite, and accurate, but they used best regards instead of cheers, and you feel compelled to go in and change it.
That's a symptom.
That's trust trauma.
Exactly. If you are rewriting every single email because it doesn't sound exactly like you aren't delegating. You are just micromanaging with extra steps. You're essentially using your team as a dictation service.
Which is incredibly demoralizing for them.
And a complete waste of your time.
Right. Symptom number 3, the belief that nobody cares like I do.
This is a tricky one because on the surface, it's often true that nobody has the same ownership stake as the founder.
Their house isn't on the line.
Right. They don't have their mortgage on the line. But the trap is thinking that because they don't own the company, they can't possibly do a good job.
You equate caring with doing it exactly my way or working the same crazy hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
An employee can care deeply about their job, their craft, and the company's mission without being willing to work unpaid overtime or obsess over font sizes at 2 a.m. Confusing those two things leads to total isolation.
And that leads to the last one, symptom number 4. You work 14 hours a day, but at the end of it, you feel like you accomplished nothing.
That is the ultimate symptom of the hamster wheel. That is the feeling of being on the wheel. You're exhausted, your brain is fried, but if you look at your to-do list, the big strategic items, the new product launch, the partnership deal, planning for the next quarter, they're all untouched.
Because you spent the whole day reacting.
Exactly. Fixing typos, answering basic emails that someone else could have answered, rearranging calendars. You were busy, but you weren't productive. There's a huge difference.
The source presents this as a stark binary choice. And I want to underscore this because it's a bit of a wake-up call for me. It says, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, you can have total control and stay small. Or you can have a messy, growing business where mistakes happen. You cannot have both.
That is the pill that is so hard to swallow. We want the growth without the mess. We want the scale without the loss of control.
The best of both worlds.
But the reality is, growth is messy. Humans are messy. If you require sterility and perfection, you have to stay in a lab. You can't go out into the market. The mess is the price of entry for growth.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We have trust trauma. We're addicted to control. But now let's talk about the excuse we use to justify it. The big one. The money. Because this is the one that shuts down the conversation usually.
Yes.
Yeah.
The financial rationalization. I can't afford help.
Or,
Yeah.
more specifically, I save money by doing it myself.
Right.
I don't have to pay a VA. I don't have to pay a freelancer. I'm keeping that cash in the business. It feels responsible. It feels prudent.
And this is where the guide introduces one of my favorite concepts from this entire deep dive. It just flips that logic completely on its head. They call it the martyr's math.
The martyr's math.
Yeah.
I love that title because it implies we are suffering for a cause, but maybe the math itself is wrong. Let's break down the equation.
So it starts by defining two different rates for your time. First, you have what they call your CEO rate.
Okay.
This is what your time should be worth if you are going to hit your revenue goals, pay your bills, and actually build a future. Let's say, just for the sake of easy math, that is $100 an hour.
Okay, $100 an hour. And just to be clear for the listener, this isn't just what you pay yourself. It's the value you generate, right?
Yes, that's a key distinction.
If I spend an hour selling or creating a new course or building a strategic partnership, that hour could bring in $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 down the line. It's high-value work.
Exactly. It's the rainmaker rate, the work that actually moves the needle. Then you have the admin rate.
Right.
This is the market rate for a virtual assistant or an admin specialist to handle routine tasks. It's much lower. Let's call it $15 an hour.
Okay, simple enough. 100 versus 15.
Now, here is the martyr's math. You have a task that takes 1 hour. Let's say it's resizing a bunch of images in Canva for social media, or fighting with a printer connection, or data entry.
All things I've done this week.
We all have. Now, if you hire someone, you pay $15. You see $15 leave your bank account. You feel that loss. It's tangible.
Right. And my brain immediately says, I'd rather keep that $15. I can resize images. I'm actually pretty good at Canva.
Of course. But if you do it yourself, you are using 1 hour of your time. Your time is worth $100, so you haven't saved $15. You have burned $100 of potential value to do a $15 task. The net result isn't a savings of $15. It is an $85 loss.
When you put it that way, it sounds completely ridiculous. It's like, I am paying myself $15 an hour to be my own assistant.
Yes.
But I'm firing myself from the $100 an hour job of being the CEO.
That is exactly what is happening every single time. But it goes deeper than that. The guide talks about opportunity cost, which they call the invisible cost.
The hidden cost.
It's not just about the $85 hourly rate difference. It is about what didn't happen because you were busy resizing those images.
This is the part that really stings, because while I was spending that hour in Canva being productive, what was I not doing?
You weren't following up with that lead who was ready to sign a $1,000 deal. You weren't sketching out the partnership that could bring in 10 new clients next quarter. You weren't resting so you could be fresh and charismatic for a big sales call in the afternoon.
So that hour in Canva didn't cost me $85. It potentially cost me the $1,000 deal I missed because I didn't reply to their email fast enough.
Precisely. And that's a conservative estimate. And there's also the context switching tax. It's not just the hour.
Right.
If you stop doing deep strategic work to go fix a printer, it takes you, 20 minutes just to get your brain back into strategy mode? So the cost is exponential. The source has a brutal line for this. It says doing admin work as a founder is embezzling time from your own company.
Embezzling time. That is such a strong word.
It's appropriate, though. I mean, think about it. If an employee stole money from the register, you'd fire them immediately, no questions asked. But you are stealing high-value time from the company, stealing from your future self just to feel productive and in control in the moment. You are embezzling your own growth potential.
That is a massive perspective shift.
Yeah.
We think we are being responsible by saving pennies, but we are skipping over dollars to pick up dimes.
And we are doing it because the dimes are safe. The dimes are controllable. Resizing an image is a task with a clear start and a clear finish. You get that satisfaction. Landing a new client is scary and uncertain.
So we hide in the admin work.
We hide in the admin work. It's our comfort zone.
Wow. Hiding in the admin work. I think I need a minute to recover from that one. But okay, let's pivot. We know we need to stop. We know the math doesn't work. The fear, however, is still very real. We can't just flip a switch and turn off the trust trauma. The guy acknowledges this, right? Says, frankly, it is reckless to just hand over the bank logins, the keys to the castle, to a stranger on day one.
Right. And I'm so glad you brought that up because a lot of guru advice online is just hire fast, delegate everything. And that is a recipe for disaster.
That's how you get traumatized again.
Yes. You set yourself up for failure. The solution isn't to go from 0 to 100. The solution the guide proposes is something called the safe playground method.
I like the sound of that.
Okay.
A safe playground. It sounds manageable. What does that look like in practice?
It's about building a sandbox where a new hire can play meaning, work without being able to burn the house down.
Okay.
It's about creating an environment where mistakes are possible, even expected, but not fatal. You want to test the relationship before you marry it.
Okay, so how do we build this playground? Step one involves an audit, I believe?
Step one is the list of shame audit.
The list of shame. I love this name. Tell me about this exercise.
It's simple, but it can be quite painful. You take a piece of paper or a spreadsheet and you write down everything you do in a week. Every single task.
Everything.
Everything. Answering emails, booking flights, looking for files you can't find, creating invoices, following up on invoices. Then you go through that list and you circle the tasks that cause a specific physical reaction. The eye roll, the heavy sigh, the energy drain.
The things where you look at your to-do list and think, ugh, not this again.
Exactly. The source gives a bunch of common examples like scheduling, chasing late payments, data entry, researching hashtags, the things that make you hate your job a little bit.
Why do they call it the list of shame? That's such a loaded word.
Because usually as a founder or a leader, we feel a little bit of shame that we are still doing them. We know we shouldn't be.
We know it's not a good use of our time.
We know it's not the $100 an hour work.
Yeah.
But identifying them, admitting that these tasks are draining your CEO energy is the first step to liberation. You have to see the enemy clearly to fight it.
Okay, so I have my list. I've circled managing the general inbox and scheduling social posts. Now, my instinct is to hire someone to run marketing.
And that is the mistake. That is too big. Step two is isolate and contain. Do not hire someone to run the business or handle marketing.
Why not?
Because that triggers the trauma again. The stakes are way too high. If they mess up marketing, that feels like a disaster.
That's where we get into the keys to the castle fear again. It's too much, too soon.
Exactly. Instead, you pick one low-risk, high-annoyance task from your list of shame. Just one. For example, take the finalized graphics and schedule them in the tool.
Not create the strategy.
No, not write the copy, not engage with the audience, just schedule them. A simple, repeatable, low-stakes task.
And the logic here is just pure risk mitigation.
Yes. If they mess up scheduling a post, maybe it goes out at 3 a.m. instead of 3 p.m., nobody dies. The business doesn't collapse.
Right.
It validates the safety of the playground. You prove to your brain, to that lizard brain that's holding on to the trauma, that a mistake can happen and the world keeps turning.
It's exposure therapy for entrepreneurs. You're exposing yourself to a small, manageable risk to realize it's not as scary as you thought.
Exactly. You build trust in inches, not miles.
Okay, so we've picked the task. Let's say it's scheduling social media posts. Now comes the actual handoff. And this is where I think a lot of people fail. They try to explain it over the phone, or they write a 10-page Google Doc that nobody reads.
Or worse, they just say, here, figure it out, and then get mad when the person doesn't figure it out. That's abdication, not delegation.
Right.
The guide introduces a specific tool for this, and it's a total game changer, the Loom handoff.
Loom, for those that don't know, is a screen recording tool. But it's not just about the software. It's about the methodology behind it.
The process is brilliant because it leverages the fact that you are already doing the task. The instruction is, do the task one last time yourself, but this time, hit record.
So you are basically narrating your own work as you do it.
Yes, and this is crucial. You talk out loud like a stream of consciousness. You say things like, okay, first I click here, and I always click this button because the other button is kind of glitchy.
So you're sharing the tribal knowledge.
The nuance. I choose this filter because our brand is warm, not cool. Watch out, sometimes the page freezes here, so just wait a second. You are capturing all the tacit knowledge that's in your head and would be impossible to write down.
And what if I mess up while I'm recording? Do I have to start over and make a perfect video?
No, that's the best part. If you mess up, you keep recording, you say, oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Let me show you how I undo that. See, you just go here and click this.
That actually teaches them how to troubleshoot.
It's infinitely more valuable than a polished, perfect tutorial. It shows them that mistakes happen and here's how we fix them. It demystifies the process.
And the beauty of this is that you record it once, and you never have to teach that specific task again.
That is the tagline. Record it once, never teach it again. The video becomes a permanent asset for your company, a standard operating procedure, or SOP. The instruction to the new hire isn't a long lecture. It's simple. Watch this video, then you do it.
It effectively clones your knowledge for that specific task.
Yeah.
And if that person leaves,
You still have the video, you show it to the next person, you aren't held hostage by the employee because the knowledge isn't in their head anymore. It's captured in the company's asset library.
that feels so much safer. It takes the pressure off. Okay, so we have built the playground. We have handed off the toy, the task using a video. Now comes the hard part, the maintenance phase. Because as we established, mistakes will happen. The new hire will use the wrong link eventually.
The maintenance phase is governed by what the guide calls the 24-hour rule. And this is specifically designed to break the cycle of trust trauma.
Because the cycle is, mistake happens, I snatch it back.
Yeah.
We need to interrupt that neural pathway.
We have to. So let's play out the scenario. You hired the VA. They are managing the social media scheduling. You log in on Tuesday morning, and you see they use the wrong link on a post. It links to a dead page.
Okay, my immediate reaction, my trust trauma trigger is panic. My chest tightens, my heart rate goes up. I want to log in, delete the post, fix the link, repost it, and then maybe send a slightly passive-aggressive email on a save the day.
That is the instinct. The 24-hour rule says, unless the building is literally on fire, unless it is a catastrophic emergency involving legal liability or massive financial loss, you wait 24 hours.
24 hours.
Or, if that's truly impossible, at least wait 2 hours. Step away from the computer.
Why? Why wait? That feels so irresponsible. The link is broken right now.
2 reasons. First, you need to let your own emotional, physiological reactions subside so you don't send a toxic email and damage the relationship.
Okay, that makes sense.
But more importantly, you need to change your role. The guide is very clear. Do not fix it yourself.
That is so hard. It is physically painful for some of us not to fix it. I just want to click the button and make it right.
It is an itch you cannot scratch. But you have to. Instead of fixing it, you send a calm message. You say, hey, I noticed the link on the Tuesday post was broken. Can you please fix that?
What does that shift accomplish? Why not just fix it and tell them about it later? It would be faster.
There's that word again. Faster. If you fix it, you teach your team that they don't really need to be careful. You are the safety net. You are the goalie. If they miss the ball, no big deal, you'll catch it. You teach them learned helplessness.
Oh, don't worry, the boss will catch it. I can be a little sloppy.
Exactly. But if you make them fix it, they feel the weight of the mistake. They have to log back in. They have to find the error. They have to do the work. They learn responsibility. They learn that they own the outcome.
And what's the second part of that? The shift in my role.
It shifts your identity. The guide gives us a mantra for this, and it's really powerful. I am a teacher, not a fixer.
I am a teacher, not a fixer. That changes everything.
It's the fundamental difference between being a glorified employee of your own company and being a true leader. A leader develops people. A fixer just does tasks. And you absolutely cannot scale if you are the primary fixer. You can't be the CEO and the janitor forever.
This step, this waiting, this refusing to intervene immediately, the expert in the material emphasizes that this is the hardest part of the whole process. But it is the most crucial.
It's where the rubber meets the road.
It's where the actual trust is built. Not when things are going right, but how you handle it when things inevitably go wrong.
Absolutely. Trust isn't the absence of mistakes. That's an impossible standard. Trust is the confidence that mistakes can be resolved without you personally doing it. That is a massive distinction.
So let's zoom out here for a second. We have gone on a pretty intense journey.
We have.
We started with that universal confession, it's just faster if I do it myself. We realized that's a lie that keeps us on a hamster wheel, sweating but getting absolutely nowhere.
Then we diagnosed the trust trauma, that ego protection that disguises itself as high standards. We did the martyrs math and realized we're losing a fortune, literally embezzling our own time every time we play admin.
And we laid out a practical path forward, the safe playground, the list of shame, the Loom handoff, and the incredible discipline of the 24-hour rule.
It really is a comprehensive system. It's not just hire someone. It's here is how you psychologically prepare yourself and your business to let them succeed.
The goal, at the end of the day, is to get your nights back.
Yeah.
To stop rewriting emails at 11:30 p.m., to focus on the big vision, the $100 an hour work, rather than the $15 an hour small admin.
And to build a business that can run and, more importantly, grow without your constant minute-by-minute intervention. Because if the business can't run without you, you don't have a business.
You have a job.
You have a job. A very stressful, high-stakes job with a terrible boss you.
There's a closing philosophy in the source material that really struck me. It's a short phrase, but it packs a punch. Perfection is poverty. Progress is profit.
That is a brilliant summary of this whole idea. If you demand perfection, if you demand that everything be done exactly as you would do it instantly with no mistakes, you will stay small. That is the poverty. You will cap your own income and your own impact. But if you accept progress, which is messy, which involves learning curves and the occasional broken link, that is where the profit is. Because that is where the scale is. That's where freedom is.
So here is our challenge to you, the listener. We want you to identify just one item from your list of shame today. Just one thing you're going to do this week that makes you roll your eyes.
Don't try to fix the whole business overnight. Don't try to hire a COO tomorrow. Just find that one task. Maybe it's the inbox. Maybe it's the invoicing. One small thing.
And realize that building a business alone is impossible. Whether you use a service like Virtua Force, which was mentioned in the guide, as a way to find vetted help so you don't have to roll the dice on randoms, or you find someone on your own, you need support to build that playground.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to finally let go of the toy.
You have to step off the hamster wheel if you ever want to get in the car. It's that simple.
Exactly. Remember the mantra. It is faster today. It is slower forever. Don't choose slower forever. Choose the highway.
Well said.
Thanks for diving in with us. We will see you on the next one.
Take care.